Hey guys, Chris Fayte with Cheat the Game coming back at you. Today we're continuing on with our Darksiders 3 series, and today we're going to be looking at the instant level ups, infinite souls and max stats. Basically they all three work together hand in hand, so getting one helps you get the others. And every game's different in this particular game, and we are going along the same lines that I've already previously taught on instant level ups, where we're going to use our cap, the cap to the next level. We're going to decrease it by 1 and have that be our current, and every time we spend a soul point we're going to go up a level. And some of you have also asked me about the ability points, and ability points are hard to find. I believe it may be address shifting every time you spend it is why you're not finding the internal. But you know, when we run into hard situations like that, what is better to do is look for something that affects ability points. Well, if we can get instant level ups, well, there you go. Each level gives you an ability point, so we can just keep increasing our level, and we have the ability points, and we can get max stats and do all that good stuff. Let me go ahead and bring the game up, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I brought up a brand new game on my other load file, and we start out with 0 souls right here. So let's go ahead and attach it to the game. We're just going to look up souls, and I'm just going to cut on infinite health just so we can take a look at our addresses, and also wrath, just so we can see our addresses. So we see that it starts out like 208 at the health. So what we want to do before we start anything, I know that we are at 0, but you never actually want to search a 0 value, or you're going to be sitting here a very long time. So usually, even when I know its exact value, we just want to do an unknown initial value. And I'm going to start with a 4 bytes, because I believe it will be an integer and not a float. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now we have it in the system, and then we can start doing exact. It just makes it quicker. Alright. So we picked up 25 down there, so let's get out of the way so we're not being attacked. Just pause the game, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to search 25. And this should be a very basic thing. This is real easy. If you're just starting out with game hacking or don't know that much about it, this is the way we find these things. You always have to start by finding a value that you can manipulate. Whether it's the value you're looking for or not, if you can't find the value you're looking for, we look for something related to that value to help us find it. Or something else that may manipulate it. So that's what we are doing, but here we're dealing with the exact value. Should be on a 4 byte. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but we'll just keep looking for it that way. We should find it rather quickly. So let's go and take on another enemy. Probably have to take on 2 of them this time. Alright, so now we went up to 75. So let's search for 75. And we get 3 addresses. That's good. Now, one thing I did notice about souls is something's not constantly writing to it or anything, so we actually have to gather more souls before we can tell that it's done anything. So what I like to do when I got 3 addresses to determine which one is my internal is I'll change each one of them to something different, and I'll make it really far off, like 200, then 300, and 400. And I know that whatever it changes to, that will be my internal code. When I collect again, it's going to go up another 100, so that will help narrow the field down just a little bit on which one it is. So let's see if we can just grab one enemy here. Alright, and it went up to 215, so we know that the first one we tried was 200, so we know that that one is the internal. And if we're still not 100% sure, we can just check it again. We can just make it go up something outrageous, like let's say 6,000. And just grab one more enemy.
Fury.
And take a look. So that definitely is our soul. So we can go ahead and start writing a script for it, and we can do all kind of things with that. You can make it give you double each and every time, which is what I did. By the time you get to where you purchase it, you got so many. I mean, you just be coasting the rest of the game. But you can see when I put the debugger on it, on what accesses the address, there is nothing accessing it or writing to it while we are just going about our business here. So that's why we had to collect more for it to actually show. So those that are having trouble finding it, that's the reason. Nothing is constantly writing to it. It only accesses it and writes to it when you actually collect it or spend it. So that was why you were having trouble. And we can tell right here, this is the writing opcode, and it's not moving a value into there and replacing the O, and it's actually adding to the already current value, whatever's in EAX. And that's where I normally put my script on something like this. And I'll show you what I do is I'll make it give me double each time. And the way I do that is I'll start a script. Let's do an AOB injection, and we'll just name that souls. And you can do an injection copy to have it always find that address, and I always recommend doing that just so you have these addresses, because they can help lead you to other good addresses for later hacks later on in the game. And we'll just put Soul 1 there and register a symbol. If you do not understand what injection copies are, these are symbols that we create. There are places in memory that get assigned an address, and then it locates whatever address is holding a value we're looking for, similar to what multi-level pointers do. It always finds the address, a dynamic address, whether it changes or not, it'll always find it for you. So it's just another way to do it. It's way more reliable than multi-level pointers. That's what we're going to do for this one. And we can just change it to whatever we want, but also keep in mind that even though we change it, we still got to collect some or spend some for it to actually show up. And what I do, and we'll get to that part. Well, I guess, no, we can't. Let's get to that later. Let's go ahead and start our script. What I like to do is I like to make my own cap. I say I don't want to go beyond a certain point, because you keep doubling and doubling and doubling, it's just going to keep going up to get into some very weird numbers, and we want to cap it out so it doesn't keep doubling all the time. And I'm going to cap it out at around 1 million. So even if it goes over 1 million, it will still stop it. And I think by the time I got to that guy, I think I had like 1.5 million souls, so you just buy everything as much as you want. You never run out, and it's just really good that way. So what we do, we know that this is the base address in RDX, and the offset of our souls is 2C. So RDX plus 2C, and if that value, which we know is an integer, which we can symbolize by putting a pound sign there, and we can use the decimal form of it. I'm going to say 999,999. When it gets to that value, I want you to jump if greater than or equal to code. If it's that value or goes over that value, I want you to stop doing our cheat. It's just going to automatically jump to code if it's that value. So our cheat's going to be right here. And what I do is I'm going to take this, and whatever EAX is bringing down, like if we kill one enemy, that we know that 25 is in there, and it's adding 25 to whatever our current is. But before it does that, what I want it to do is I want it to add our current value to that 25. Oh, sorry, I just noticed I did that. RDX plus 2C. Okay? So I want it to add our current value to that 25. So let's say we, just for kicks right quick, let's just pretend like we already have 25 in our souls already. And EAX is about to bring another 25 down here to add to our current value, right? You with me? Well, what I'm doing is before it adds it to our current value, I'm going to add my current value of 25 to this 25 already. That'll make EAX carry down to here 50 instead of 25. And now this is still holding the 25. It's going to add that 50 to that 25. So now that's 75. So instead of going up 50, it went up to 75. You with me on that? Does that make sense? So in essence, it's actually doubling plus whatever EAX is holding. Okay? So I'm doubling the value plus whatever points we got on top of it. That's what it's doing. I don't want to confuse anybody, and let's go ahead and finish off our code injection as well. I want to move the base address of RDX into our symbol, which is Sol 1. That'll be our base address, and we just take note that our souls is located in 2C, and we just need to make sure that Cheat Engine assigns it an address. So we'll put it down here as declare a keyword, and that'll be our spot. Okay, since it's a 64-bit game, we're going to use define a quad word. So that'll move the base address into Sol 1, our symbol. And then we can just add 2C on the cheat table, and it will locate our address for us. So let's get back to it. And let's just put this in here, double souls. On pickup. Alright, we'll turn it on. I also want to add that to my cheat table. So we use that symbol that we're moving RDX into. So essentially, whatever RDX is holding, that's what Sol 1 is going to be holding. And then we just add the offset, and this is our souls, 2C, and we know that's an integer, and we'll just put that as Sol address. And let's go collect some. Now, if our cheat is working, that'll go well above 12,000 on the next one. So let's see if there's another enemy here we can fight. And over here, it will also locate our soul address. So let's do that. And take a look. You see that? It went up to 12,075. And let's keep doing it just to make sure. And that should go over 24 once we collect him. And take a look. Oh, it went up to 48. So it just keeps doubling, 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 doubling. So it goes up really fast that way. And we know when it gets to our cap of 1 million, it's going to stop doing that and just give it to us regular. So that's a good stop off point for that. And if you take a look here, it did find our soul address, because here was the one that we scanned for, and here is our injection copy, which locates our address for us. So no matter how many times that changes, as soon as we collect one, it will find it for us, so we can get rid of that one. And what we do is we save our work. Alright, let me go ahead and save what I got so far, because we're going to use these souls to go get us instant level up. So no matter if you just got a few souls, you can go up that many levels per how many souls you have, and I'm going to show you how to do that coming up next. Okay, so now we're at that merchant demon here, and what we're going to do is go ahead and look up our levels, our XP. Let's go ahead and go to the shop. And that'll be on the feed souls, so you have to pay for your XP. So we know, and I want to say this also, let me alt tab out so it's not overpowering me here. If you've already gone up some levels, and this is for just about any game, okay? If you've already gone up some levels, what you want to do is I recommend that you just start a new game on a different save file, and because it's a lot easier to find XP that way. And the reason being that the displays will oftentimes revert back to 0 once you go up a level. Once I pass that 800 mark, then that's a level. And then your display will revert back to 0 and start counting up again to the next level. However, and this goes for your current and your cap, both of your internals, in most games, will not revert back to 0. They will continue counting up. Okay? So they will no longer be in sync with each other after that first level game. Okay? So if you've already gone up levels and you don't want to do a new save file and do it that way, which is a little easier, however, I get that. If you don't want to, you'll just have to do unknown value search because you don't know what that value is. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But for right now, I haven't gone up any levels, so I can do exact value at least up to 800. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. And if I remember correctly, I think XP was also on 4 byte. And we're going to start off the same way, unknown initial value. And there we go. So let's go ahead and buy one. It says to hold to feed souls, but I'm just going to tap it. And you can see our XP went up to 17. So that's exactly what I'm searching for. Now, just to reiterate, if you've already gone up a level, exact value will not help you. You will not find it, okay? Because if it reverts back to 0, it's no longer in sync with the internal that we're searching for. So I'm going to pause it while it's doing that, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, thanks for holding, guys. Sorry about that. Let's just make sure that it's unpaused, and it is. Good. Okay. So now we're up to 17. I'm just going to unchange values, and I'm using my hotkeys to do this. It's a lot easier using hotkeys. And let's go up some more. 34. And same as last time, we got 3 addresses. We need to figure out which is the right address. So what I do in this situation is I'm just going to freeze one at a time and see if it holds that back. So I'm going to freeze the top one, and it went up to 51, so we know that top one is not it. So let's freeze this bottom one, or the middle one, and that one did hold it, and it's not going up at all. So we know the middle one was indeed our internal code, and that's the one we need to help us achieve what we're looking for here. Alright, so like last time, let's go ahead and untick that so it can go up, and we want to go ahead and put the debugger on it, and I like seeing everything that's going on with it. And what I'd really like to find is maybe a compare location that we can find that 800 cap, because somewhere in memory it's comparing that cap. And that will really help us if we can find that cap. You can also search and browse memory regions. Sometimes in some games they're close to each other. Right here to bring us to the memory dump region, and you can change that to 4-byte decimal, but in this game they are not located near each other. As you can see, there is no 800 near here. You can also check and float, and there is no 800. So we know that cap is located in another section. So let's go back to 4-byte decimal, and that's what we're going to do, is see if we can locate that cap also. Alright, so we see that something's constantly monitoring it. It's constantly moving that value into EAX, so that's usually a monitoring type feature. Let's go up another value, and these are the other things that it is going through. So that's good, and we also see there's a compare here. That's possible that EAX is, let's see what's in EAX. EAX is comparing a value in EAX of hex value 320. Let's bring up our hex calculator, go to hex, and let's see what that 320 is in decimal. And as you can see, boom, take a look, it's comparing it to 800. So that's good. So we have found a cap location. So let's go take a look at it in memory. And if we can see right here, it is comparing, or I'm sorry, it is actually moving our cap right here, which is located in RDI plus 8, into EAX so it can compare it with our current XP. So we can actually do our modification right here and have it right to our current. So that's good, and we're going to get right to it. Now, instead of me just going over this step by step by step, I've already been over it so many times. I'm going to post the vids up here in the upper right hand corner, one on how to have instant level ups, the very, very basic form that I did on the other Darksiders game, and also on Assassin's Creed Origins. I did this very same exact level up that I'm doing right now. And so you'll see, and I go through it step by step, so this way I can kind of go through it a little easier because I've already got that as a backup. So let's go ahead and create our script, and we're gonna I'm just gonna name it whatever you want, and I'm just gonna put it level up, just so I know what this script is doing in case I need to come back and debug it later or change some stuff. And I got to think about what I want to do here, because we see here it's moving the cap into EAX. So I know I need to do some modifications before it actually gets to the compare. So that's what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and move this code up in new mem so I can put some instructions underneath it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to push, and I want to borrow a registry. So the first thing I like to do, and this is a snapshot of that same area in memory, I like to just use a registry that's not currently being utilized. And I think I'm just going to pick RDX, and that looks like a good one, just so I can manipulate that value the way I want to do it. So I'm going to borrow RDX. As long as we give it back to the system, we're good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that RDI plus 08, which is our cap, moved into RDX. So RDI plus 08. So we're going to move that into RDX. And right off the bat, what I want to do is I want to compare my current to RDX. And the reason I'm doing that, let's go ahead and put CMP. The reason I'm doing that is if it's already equal to or greater than, I don't want it moving a lesser value back into my current. I'm just going to have it go ahead and jump on over here and just keep going where it left off. Won't do anything. And this will help us go up levels. The reason being is I'm going to put, let's say our cap is 800 right now. I'm going to have it compared to RDX. It's comparing it to 800, and I'm going to put jump if greater than or equal to code. Jump to code if it's greater than or equal to 800. And the reason being is I'm going to be moving one less than our cap into our current, which will be 799 in this case. So all we really have to do is spend one soul, and no matter how many X points it gives us, it can only give us one X point. We're going to go up a level because we're going to hit that cap. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how to do it. We know that we just moved 800 into RDX. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this with integers, is I'm going to use the command decrease. You got decrease and increase, INC and DEC. Increase increases that value by 1. Decrease decreases that value by 1. So I'm going to increase that 800 to 799. That's being held in RDX right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 799 into my current XP. So we move, remember, whatever is on the left is affected by whatever is on the right. So I'm telling Cheat Engine now that I want to move the value of 799 into my current. So let's just take a look. This is just part of the regular program. It's moving the cap into EAX to do its thing down here. So it's doing essentially the same thing we're doing. So what we're doing is we're borrowing a registry, and I can use the 32-bit version of that registry also. Since they're doing it, I'm gonna do it too. Who cares? But it don't matter. RDX, EDX are the same registry. This just deals with more bytes. But being a 64-bit game, you want to push it as RDX. But if you're just moving like a small value into it, you just use the 32-bit form of it. Don't want to confuse anybody. Hope that didn't. But there's nothing to it. Alright. So after that, we borrowed the registry, and I'm also moving that same cap that's still located at this address. I'm moving the 800 into EDX. Now, I'm going to compare that 800 to my current value, which right now I think is, what is it? 68. Okay. So, it being 68 right now, it's not going to meet the condition because it's not greater than or equal to 800. So it's going to come down here. And the next command is decrease by 1 the value that's in EDX, which is 800. So it'll change 800 to 799. Now it's going to move that 799 that's in EDX into our current. So when it finally gets down here, it's going to move, it's going to compare 799 to, it's going to compare 800 to 799, but that's the regular program. So the next time we feed it a soul, the next time it cycles back through here, it's going to be greater than 800. Because it's going to be plus whatever our souls are. And that will trigger a level to go up. So make sure that down here in code that we pop RBX. Where whatever we placed that was in RBX we placed on the stack, it will be put back into RBX. And the reason that we put it in code is because of this compare. So if it don't meet the condition, it will still pop RBX. RDX. Okay. RDX, you want to pop RDX because that's the registry we borrowed. Okay, so let's go see if it works. So remember, this particular area of memory is only active or only being accessed when we actually use it. So the first time we use it, it's not going to go up, I don't believe. So we'll put instant level up. 1 soul equals 1 level. And let's turn it on and let's go mess around with it. So we're going to hit Y again and take a look. It went to 799. That was the first time through. Now take a look at the next time through. And each cap that it goes up, boom. Now all you got to do, you only spend 1 soul. 1 soul, 1 level. And if you take a look, each one of these levels is an attribute point. Alright, so let's backspace and go take a look at it. And say goodbye. And we'll go to our normal screen. And if you take a look at that. And we got attribute points here also. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be 99. I was screwing around with trying to find the level itself, and I've already manipulated that. I'll do that at a later time. I don't have that time to show you how to do that yet. But basically what I did is every time I used an attribute point, whatever these levels went up to, I went and found the level, and all you got to do is just find your level value and set it to 99, and it will give you max everything. So that's how I did that. But that's another way that you can get practically unlimited attribute points, is by doing this instant level up. Alright, thank you guys. Right quick, I'm going to go ahead and thank all my partners. These guys keep Cheat the Game going with their kind contributions every month. I really do appreciate that. I'm always throwing freebies at them to make it worthwhile to be a Cheat the Game partner. If you would like to be a Cheat the Game partner, it only costs $1 a month. All you have to do is go over to our Patreon page. All links are in description. Also, come join us over at our Facebook, our Discord, and our website that I am currently going to try to get back into operation. And if anybody would like to help me get it back into operation, I welcome it. So please let me know if you're interested to help me run that station and help get people over there. That would be great. So get a hold of me if you would like to talk about something like that. But if this helped you, if you don't mind, please place a like on it. Help us get back into the rankings after that little misunderstanding with YouTube, and they banned our channel for about 2 weeks. We kind of really sunk low. But you guys coming to support and watch the videos and placing likes on it and commenting the way you do really helps us get back up into the rankings. So you doing that is also being a partner with CTG as well. And I thank you so very much for all you do for us. But that's all I got time for this go around. We'll keep on with this game if you want. want to. If there's something I'm not aware of that you would like to find, let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to take a look at it. And if I can't find what you're looking for, maybe there's a different way, like with the attribute points, that we can find to help you out. So I do hope this does help you. I will try to get this my cheat table currently uploaded for you to download. Now just keep in mind it is version specific. It's for the very first. There's no updates on my version of it, just so I can keep everything the same. But you can still use it to see where that, you know, I'm using my places and memories. These addresses may change on an update, but you can still updates, and I will leave all this information in there for you as well, so you can search for AOBs to find these locations again for your cheat tables if you would like to use those locations, which is totally fine with me. Alright guys, well, I'm out of here, and I will see you next go around. You guys take care. Keep on hacking. Most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. You cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, doesn't mind cheating you. You all take care now.